Hi Cancer, welcome to your weekly scopes. Please keep in mind this is only a general reading. Take what it feels right and with what resonates with your own life experiences at the moment. So this week there's an energy of a lot of thought and mind connected with this awareness that it's trying to be manifested into your consciousness, and that may be a little trapped of your conscious awareness because you are too focused on the rational, objective explanations for what is going on in your life. And the things that are going on in your life at this moment are much more, they have much more to do with the veil that is being lifted up to you, the veil of this higher conscious self that is trying to reformulate the way your mind has been wired up until this moment. So you have an opportunity to break free from all the confusion you may have been feeling, especially communication wise, the way you express yourself, the way you receive others' expressions, the way you receive communication and put communication out there, but also the way you think, the way you let your mind either control you or play tricks on you, creating situations of anxiety, worriness, a lot of lower vibrational energies of your mind that have been following you and not letting you see the bigger picture, all of those matters and all of those situations. So there's this battle, this conflict between your left side of the brain, the one that is really rational and objective, and it's looking for information and things to make sense from the way it has been perceiving the world up until this moment. And then there's the right side of your brain, which is much more connected with the higher meanings of life and the higher purposes of every single thing that happens in your life. So it's the battle between what people call the higher mind and the lower mind, and that it shouldn't really exist this difference between lower mind and higher mind. We should join them together. We should bring them together because both of them have a purpose and both of them have a way of cooperating, because we are living in this reality. So we need to have objective thinking and we need to have analytical skills, but never forgetting about our intuition of the higher meaning of the significance of life and of our experiences here as spiritual beings. So there's probably this situation between your spiritual self and your rational self that are going back and forward and pushing you in two different directions. But as a main opportunity, you have the mental card, which, as you can see by the picture, this is the state your mind would look like when we are so overly focused on those that need for explanations, that need to 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 research for data, for information, as things having to make sense in a logical way. This is what happens when we get trapped into our own thoughts, as negative thoughts, as worrisome, as anxiety, as fear, as insecurity, as the what ifs and the what shoulds and the what's and where and why. All those questions, um, all that insatisfaction can put you in a mind state like this, where everything is just not in the right place and not working at its best, not functioning at its best. So as an opportunity, I feel this has a lot of connection with you breaking away or breaking free from the pattern of your mind, you realizing that there's a higher way of using your mind, a higher way of using your communication, your ideas, your thoughts without getting trapped into them, without feeling, feeling your judgment being so clouded with all these different aspects that you're trying to make sense of. But that making sense is not, it's not that making sense of really making sense, if that even makes sense. It's about you acknowledging that your higher self is asking you to trust in, to have faith in whatever is happening in your life at this moment, but also to consciously be aware of uh, the thoughts you're having, of the ideas you're having, of the words you're saying and expressing out there. Because you could be in a time where really what you think, you create. So if you believe in that, pay really attention to what is going on, because what you're manifesting in your life at this moment has a lot of connection with this mental state of being. But there's an opportunity, you have an opportunity to break free from it, especially if you follow the advice, which we'll get to that card. But first, the challenge is awareness. So as you can see, there's a lot of connection between these cards, because one talks about that rational, objective, controlled mind, and this one talks about perceiving and seeing and being aware of things you are not, witnessing yourself, witnessing your mind, witnessing your own state of being in a much more spiritual way. So there's this awareness, this new consciousness, this new understanding of your mind, of your ideas, that it's trying to be manifested, that's trying to be incorporated on your way of doing and perceiving your reality. The challenge is to let it, and the challenge is to actively do something about it. Because I think you already know, I think you already have this awareness, because you had an understanding before of it. But maybe you until this moment were unable to implement the changes in your mind, the changes in the way you think, in the way you let yourself think, with um, with active determination, with will of force to change that pattern. So there's an opportunity for you to really, it's a beautiful opportunity for you really to see, to have this perception, this consciousness, this awareness of something much more greater and meaningful towards your life, towards the experiences you are having. Once you start controlling your mind and not letting your mind control you, especially when that mind is incomplete, when you're not joining the other part, the other half of it, which is trying to come to you. You're starting to acknowledge certain things. You're starting to be aware of certain things, even if you cannot explain it rationally. It's being asked for you to trust that knowledge, to not be fearful of incorporating that knowledge into your daily way of thinking, of perceiving, of receiving information and putting out information. There's a lot going on mental wise. The advice card is intensity. So as you can see, when you put your whole potential force working, things start moving, things start happening, because you're pushing forward all your energy, all your creative force, infinite creative potential force, to bring forward the changes you want to make, to bring forward actively the new directions you are trying to go towards. So the advice is for you to reconnect with your own spirit, reconnect with your own flames, and start pushing it forward. Start actively doing something to let your awareness to let that challenge become part of your opportunity, where not only you break away from a mental pattern that it has been detrimental to the way you perceive your reality, but also you start integrating much more of yourself in connection with all of yourself, with your mental state of being, with your spiritual state of being, with your emotional state of being, and physical state of being. The advice here is for you to do something about it, to move, to let the energy flow. Don't, this week, you're not advised to be stagnant. You're advised to be active. Do something active about the way you have been feeling. If you have been feeling weird, depressed, sad, confused, trapped, any kind of negative traits that have been clouding your way of seeing and thinking, do something about it. Go out there and do something about it. Something that makes you forget that mind. Something you lose all your spirit in. Something that you creatively love to do and that it's able to dissolve this heaviness, to dissolve this negativity of your mind. That's the opportunity and that's the advice is for you to break the pattern by being passionate or for wanting to break it, for wanting to things to become much more positive in your life, much more energetic, even if that means you have to be intense and you have to let yourself be really assertive in redefining the things you want, redefining the things you want to conquer in your life, especially in communications, in expression, in thinking, in manifesting those thoughts into reality. It's time for you to move and let the energy move with you. So Cancer, I hope you have a really aware week. Thank you for listening, liking, and subscribing, and hopefully we'll see each other next week.